So today we're going to be talking about checks cashed the same way. We're going to go over the informal versus formal purchase process. The session today is hosted by B2G Victory and RFP Schoolwatch. So we are very excited to be coming together again this month. So B2G Victory has a wide variety of services for our clients that help them be successful in the government contracting space. From capability statements to actually helping you put together your proposal, we're going to help you walk through this entire process. We're here for you. We provide training, coaching, help you, like I said, put together your proposal. So we're here for you. So I'm Susan Repka. I am one of the co-founders of B2G Victory. I have 25 plus years helping small businesses grow their capacity, first through nonprofit, and then again through having a consulting company such as B2G Victory. With me today is Emily Kelly. Emily has been working with small businesses for over 12 years. She's been very involved in helping them grow their capacity as well. And she serves as our project manager. She will be one of the very first faces that you see once you become a client of B2G Victory. This is our entire team. And Emily right now is dropping all of our contact information into the chat. As we go through our program today, if you have a question, please drop that question in the Q&A box. We're monitoring it. RFP Schoolwatch is monitoring it. So please drop the questions in the Q&A. We're going to be posting links and other information into the chat. So make sure that you are watching that chat as well. At the end of the program, you'll be able to download that information. Again, questions in the Q&A. So as we're going through this program, grab a piece of paper and start thinking of what your action plan is. Government contracting is a long marathon. It is not a sprint. So you need to start planning on what you're going to do this week. What are you going to do next quarter? Q3, Q4. Put together some action items that is going to help you be successful in this space. At the end of the program, we're going to ask you what are some of the things that you learned today. So start making some notes, put together your plan, and let's get started. So today's session is about understanding formal versus informal, how to do some research, some winning strategies, as well as we're going to go over some content that you might want to be putting in a proposal. Obviously, we're not going to go through any opportunity page by page. And our disclaimer, this does not guarantee a government contract from any government entity. So Emily and I are pretty engaging. We're going to switch off back and forth. You're going to see me for a while. You'll see Emily, and whoever is not on camera is managing the Q&A. We're going to give you some tools that you can implement immediately. We have time for questions, and we're going to help you put together your victory plan. We want you to listen and participate, test drive these ideas, provide us some feedback, and share your successes. This is what gets us excited. When we hear a client or someone who's attended our webinars, and they drop us a note and say, hey, we won this contract. I mean, that is what drives us to do what we do. So remember, questions in the Q&A, other information in the chat. We're recording this session and it will be on our YouTube channel next week. So we encourage you, if you want to go back and listen, there's some information you want to kind of slow down and listen to it again, visit our YouTube. You'll be able to listen to this as well as one of the other 80-something webinars that are posted online. So our partner today is RFP Schoolwatch. So I am going to introduce Rick. If you want to say a few words, and then we'll pass it to Amy.
You bet. I'm Rick Bernstein. I'm an account manager with RFP Schoolwatch, and it's just a hand in glove relationship we have with B2G to provide the RFPs that you all then have a chance to turn into contracts. Welcome. Nice to be here.
Rick will be in the Q&A. So if you have a question about RFP Schoolwatch, drop him a question. He'll be happy to answer that.
Yes. I'm going to check off right now and go be there.
All right, then we'll pass it to Amy. Amy?
Okay, yes, thank you, Susan. Thank you, Rick. I'm super excited to be here again today with you all, B2G Victory. And we here at RFP Schoolwatch, as Rick mentioned, are here to customize your accounts and capture those opportunities that are relevant and valuable for your, to your business. So just a few things I wanted to share today with all of you about what we do here at RFP Schoolwatch. Just as this first screen, this first slide says, is we've got you covered. So I wanted to share a few ways of how we have you covered. So we'll move on to that second slide, if you would. Thank you. So one of the first things that I wanted to share is the fact that there are thousands of school districts, colleges, universities, counties, municipalities, and thousands of townships, independent school districts, and special districts as well across the U.S. That's a lot of ground to cover whenever you're searching for valuable bid opportunities in your market sector. So it would be very easy to miss lucrative opportunities if you're not able, and none of us are, to individually monitor all of those spaces. It's a lot. So here at RFP, we have you covered, and we do that by monitoring every day.
I think
Universities.
Okay. You froze for a minute.
Okay, sorry. So we're monitoring every day the K-12 space, all colleges, universities, and state and local government offices for you, and for the bid opportunities that are valuable to your company. The third slide here, Susan has pulled up, is just mentioning the fact that a lot of people see RFP Schoolwatch and they immediately think, oh, they only monitor for educational bids. So I just wanted to clarify that today, that we're not only monitoring for educational bids, but also the non-education opportunities that are posted daily in all of those spaces. In the next slide, I wanted to point out the fact that we monitor for all market categories. If you're just monitoring for opportunities in your specific market category, the great thing that you can do through our service is also monitor closely related markets that could also present very valuable RFP opportunities for you. You're able to gain valuable insight into opportunities that's possibly coming down the road or just around the corner. So we can help you to identify those other closely related markets and be able to increase your bid opportunities that way as well. So on the next slide, the other thing that our clients get to access is unlimited keywords. If you're not using your keywords to the to the max, then that's something that we can help you do here by customizing and helping you with keyword development. You're going to use specific keywords that best describe your services and products, but we can also help you to identify additional keywords and overarching categories and keywords that can help increase your bid opportunities. Next, finally, if you would like to get samples for bid opportunities in your market sector, this is a great way to get started. You can reach out to us and we can get samples over to you. And if you'd like to get started and customize an account, you can do that as well. We'd be happy to set you up and get you going. Be sure to use this promo code to get started today and save 10% on your first year. So thank you so much. Let us know if you have any questions.
All right. Thank you, Amy.
Mhm.
Next, we're going to have Emily come up and she's going to talk about some of the really big numbers. Oh, sorry, I went the wrong way.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. So as Susan mentioned, there's some pretty impressive numbers that represent the purchasing power in the education space. So the annual spend for school districts, colleges, and universities is more than $1 trillion. So there's a lot of opportunity out there. And what we're going to talk about a little bit today is how to find it, what the different types of opportunities look like. So we wanted to start here because this is really impressive, right? That means there's more than $1 trillion of opportunity out there for your business. There are more than 3 million bids and RFPs published annually in the education space. And as Amy mentioned, more than 13,800 school districts across the United States. So again, lots of opportunities out there. So as we get ready to get started to talk about how to look for these, what the key pieces of a opportunity looks like, and we want to share a pro tip. One of our favorite things to recommend to our clients is to create a new inbox, right, for all these opportunities. Bids at yourcompanyname.com, right? So that your opportunities are all going in one place. They're not flooding your inbox, and you're able to narrow down where to look when you're ready to go and look for those opportunities. You're able to find everything in there. So you want to have that unique email account for these opportunities. All right, so to get started, formal versus informal. This is going to be our main focus today. So we're going to follow along the different steps for each of these, and I'll talk a little bit about the differences. So in most cases, $50,000 is kind of a threshold for moving from an informal opportunity to a formal opportunity. That can vary a little bit for different states and different purchasing agencies, but this is kind of a pretty good rule of thumb. So a formal opportunity is going to look like an RFP, an RFQ, or an IFB. And in some instances, they may have small business goals, which we'll touch on a little bit later as well. So those informal opportunities have a standard process of collecting 3 quotes. If there's a small business program, they may look and see if a quote comes from an SBE, a certified SBE, which we've talked about on previous sessions, and we'll also touch a little tiny bit later, but more information on that is available to you as well on what that means if you're not familiar with that. But something that we also like to focus on is checks cash the same way, right? So regardless of whether it's a formal opportunity or an informal opportunity, the money is going to hit your bank account the same way, regardless of how you did the business. So we don't want to disregard either type of opportunity. I'm going to hand it back over to Susan now. As a reminder, put your questions in the Q&A and drop your contact information in the chat. The Q&A helps us make sure that we get to you and we don't miss any questions in the scrolling chat.
All right. So let's talk about the informal process. Because, a $50,000 contract, it would still be a really nice contract. So each entity has their own process that allows for informal bidding. They are going to set the dollar amount of that threshold. And some of them have kind of multiple levels. So one entity, if it's under 10,000, they only need to get 2 quotes. If it's over 10,000 but less than 50,000, they need to get 3 quotes, and one of those needs to be a certified small business. So different processes. So for example, Houston Independent School District, they have a small business program. So they expect in the informal process to get at least one quote from a certified small business. So some of the benefits to going through an informal process versus a formal process. Well, you're giving a quote. It may be a written quote, it may be a quote on the phone, but it is not the fairly large submission for a formal process. If the entity has a small business program, this allows these small minority women-owned businesses to participate, even if they are too small to do a really big job. Some of the challenges, though, these larger school districts, their spend is based on what they're going to spend for that product or service for the entire year, not just with that vendor. So when they have, so HISD again has 200 and something schools and 200,000 students. There is very little that they're going to do that is going to be under $50,000. However, there are some. They provide some very unique things, very small contracts that you might can come under depending on your goods or service. Now, these opportunities, informal opportunities, are very relationship driven. If you are not in their database, if you haven't registered on their website, or, you know, if you've gone to some of these school districts is maybe doing a meet the buyer, or they're going to be at another event, this is a great time to get to know their small business person or their some of their buyers at these events, because these are pick up the phone and give a call or send an email, not these formal that are posted on their website. So it's very, very relationship driven. The buyer needs to know who you are and what product or service you provide. So who remembers Schoolhouse, was it Schoolhouse Rock, where how does a bill become a law? So we're going to walk through how a need for a school district or other government entity goes from we have this need to making a purchase or doing a contract. So we're going to follow a road of how this works. And both informal and formal have a lot of the same stops, but some of the stops are unique to that process. So step one, how are we going to procure this goods or service? And a lot of that's going to depend on what it is they're procuring. Obviously, if they're building a new school, it's going to be a formal process, and it's going to go through an RFQ, then an RFP. But if they're buying a very specific, smaller item, then it could be a informal process. So they need to kind of gather that information of what's the best way to procure this. Then they need to look and make sure that the value for the entire year does not exceed their particular threshold. So they have to consider how much they're going to buy now, but also could there possibly be some change orders? Or is that we're going to amend this, that we're going to need more products and service? If it's close to that $50,000, they're probably going to go ahead and do it as a formal bid opportunity. So they're going to have to sit down and think, okay, how much are we going to buy? Who's all going to use this? And determine where that threshold is. So in the informal process, what they're going to do now is they're going to go through their internal database. Most school districts, most government entities have a process in which businesses create an online profile. Think of it as Emily likes to say, an internal Google for them, right? So they're not going to go out and Google for businesses that provide this service, they're going to go to their internal database. They're going to search for that particular NIGP code or keyword that's in your registration, and they're going to pick 3, 5, however many they want to, their process allows, and ask for quotes. That's why it's important to register on these school districts' website. As Emily, said, there's a lot of school districts. So one of the ways you can find out whether there's good opportunity for you at these different schools, sign up for RFP Schoolwatch, and they'll start sending you information, and if they're buying your goods or service. Once you register on these school districts, you still need to go in and update your profile. We highly recommend that you go in and look at it every 6 months. As Amy was talking about keywords, just because you call something A, somebody else may call it something different. So you need to kind of monitor what's coming through RFP Schoolwatch. What are they looking for that is a similar product or service that you do? So use what's coming into your inbox to take a hard look at what your profile is saying about you, because that's how these school districts are going to find you. Next, they're going to advertise. Some entities will put their informal bids on their procurement site so that RFP Schoolwatch will pick them up. Some of them do not. So it's an email or a phone call to those with the NIGP codes that are relevant. Some of them require that the quote be emailed to them, or some of them will just say, hey, just give it to me over the phone, follow up with an email. So make sure, again, your NIGP codes, your keywords are correct, because these informal bids are going to come. Well, it helps if I flip the slide. These informal bids may come through your email. And so again, that's having that email address just for bid opportunities that you can look at. It's going to make a big difference. All right. So now they've sent out these emails. They've gotten all of this information out. So now they're just going to get the quotes back. They want to make sure that they're getting at least 3 quotes. If they have that small business program, that's one of those quotes needs to be for small business. But they're going to get all of that information, and then their procurement team is still going to evaluate the results. Some school districts are very price driven, but they still need to make sure that you can perform the work or deliver the goods. They might at this point say, hey, you're the lowest price, but now we need to see your insurance information to make sure that you have what is needed. We want to see your warranty information. If for any reason, at any time, you will be on our campus, we want to see background checks of any individual that will be on our campus. So they may ask for some additional information outside of just the quote, but they're going to wait until they've narrowed it down to at least 2 companies. And then they come back and ask for this additional information. So make sure that you have everything ready. All right, to kind of go back through there, you must be registered in that entity's database. They can't find you unless you are. And they can't pay you unless you are. So kind of two reasons that's a very important process. You must be able to do the work. You must be able to deliver on time. You must have a good reputation for that. You have to make sure that you can satisfy all their safety and environmental concerns. You have good references. You have the resources. Again, if you will be on campus at any point in time, that you have the background check, you can pass their badging. So you need to make sure you have your house in order as you start looking for these opportunities. And again, RFP Schoolwatch can help you do that, because you're going to get bids that may not be your goods or service that you offer, but you can go through and say, what insurance information are they looking for? Because formal or informal, you still need the coverage. What type of background check are they asking for? Well, we can go ahead and get that done. So again, use this information to help you build your library and whatever is going to be needed for those school districts that you are targeting. All right, so the procurement team has met. They've made their decision. They've picked out their business that's going to do that. At this point, they're going to issue that PO, that purchase order, and they're going to make and document the process, any purchases they've made. They're going to put together all of the insurance information, and this way everything is handled. It's an easy process for the small businesses, as long as they have everything ready and in order. All right, any questions, please drop them in the Q&A. How are we doing over there, Emily? Good. All right, so we are going to go now into the formal process. Again, we're going to take pretty much the same road. There's just a couple of different stops that we'll talk about. So we won't go through every stop. Some of them are the same, but we're going to go through a few of them. So the type of procurement. They have to decide that. Now, the formal process is a little bit more challenging for the small businesses. So we're going to explain a little bit of what a formal process and type of procurement is. Well, it can kind of be stressful and make you pull your hair out. So we've been doing this for quite some time, and there are many days that this is how we look as we're going through this, going through a bid, putting together a response. But we're here to help you. We'll be the ones to pull our hair out. You'll be good. We'll just help you through the process. So there are a lot of acronyms that are used: RFP, RFI, RFQ, IFB, CSP. There's just a lot of different acronyms of different formal processes. We're going to pick 3 of the most popular processes and sort of walk you through what these are. Now, obviously, we're not going to go through step by step, but we're going to give you some high-level information so that when you see these acronyms, you know what they are expecting. So we're going to focus on the RFQ, an IFB, and an RFP. All right, these are 3 vehicles that might be found on this road. So an RFQ, a request for qualification. I need this done. Are you qualified to do the work? Design it, build it, deliver it. So they're fairly easy to prepare. There's no pricing. Do you have the qualification? Does your team have the qualification? Have you done this work before? Provide references. They're going to have attachments. They'll have forms. So basically, do you have the capability and capacity? And we want to know, not only have you done this work before, but how are you going to handle our particular project? They will evaluate you based on qualifications, not on pricing. These are really popular engineering and architect, especially if a school's gone after, it's got a bond, right? So they need someone to design that school. An IFB, an invitation to bid. Whereas an RFQ has no pricing, this is very much price driven. I need this done. I need these goods. I need these services. What will you charge me? So you are going to have to provide additional information aside from pricing, but price is king in this instance. So as you're looking at the evaluation in this bid opportunity, normally 30 to 40% is based on your pricing. They still want to make sure that you have the capacity and the capability to do the work. They want to know that that you're qualified, that you've been in business long enough, that you have references. And if if it requires bonding, if you have that bonding. But price is the most important part of this. So you're going to have to sharpen your pencil. You still need to make a profit, but you need to make sure that you can deliver that product or service in a price conscious way. The next one is an RFP, request for proposal. And a lot of people just use the word RFP to kind of talk about any opportunity. So a request for proposal is a combination of an RFQ and an IFB. You are going to provide pricing, but you are also going to provide qualifications. This is the longest one or longest type to prepare. You're going to have the biggest package out of the three of them. So basically, I have a problem. What is the best solution? How much will it cost me? And are you qualified to do it? So you're going to have your resumes, your team resumes, your org chart, how are you going to get their project done? You need to understand the agency that you're submitting this bid for. I need to understand what their pain points are and what makes your company different from your competitors. So this takes much longer to prepare, and it's going to have both your pricing and your qualifications. All right, so we're going to go through the value of the year, the advertising. So one of the stops along a formal process is a pre-bid or a pre-submission conference. Now, those at one time were all held in person. Now, I would say about 75% of them are virtual. But it's your opportunity to meet the players. Who are the small businesses? Who are the companies that are going to be playing in your sandbox? You're going to hear from the buyer. If there's a small business program, you're going to hear from the person that leads that small business program. You're going to possibly do a walkthrough of the area in which you are providing a service, but you're going to get all of this information. If you attend, which you should, you will also get a list of everyone that has attended. That's a great opportunity. If it's in person, you can do this, hand out your capability statement right there. But if it's virtual, you're going to want to follow up with people with that capability statement. These are your potential partners. These are people that you can join their team to be part of this. Maybe this contract is too large for you, or maybe you're the prime and you want some subcontractors on it for a specific piece of the statement of work that you don't do. So this is a great opportunity. Now, if you did not attend last month where we went over what a capability statement is, Emily's going to drop the link to the YouTube session on capability statement. And here is a sample of one. This is the B2G Victory capability statement that outlines what we do, the services we provide, both in keywords as well as our NAICS codes and our NIGP code. So this is information that you should already have listed on your RFP Schoolwatch profile, because that's how you're going to get opportunities. So this is just a quick snapshot. We call this our company resume. All right. Emily, how are we doing on the questions and answers? Am I doing subcontracting?
Yeah.
Sorry. All right. So another opportunity. We talked about attending a pre-bid to see if you could partner with someone. So let's talk about subcontracting. I mean, again, we'll go back to Houston ISD with 258 schools. You may not can service the whole area, but maybe you can do the north side, and you can partner with somebody who can do the east side. So you can be either a subcontractor, or you can be the prime and you can have subcontractors. So you have the prime contractor and you might have 3 or 4 subcontractors under them. If there are small business goals within that bid, they're going to state what percentage has to go to certified small business companies. So make sure that you are reviewing that very closely for that, because that if you do not meet that goal, then it is non-compliant. So make sure you're looking for that. And kind of an easy one to explain if somebody's doing some repairs at a school. So they're the general contractor. We're going to have their painting and sheetrock guy. They're going to have their HVAC guy. They're going to have the electrical or their plumbing. And all of those companies report up to the general contractor or the project manager, who then reports to that school district. Now, the prime contractor holds the contract, and they're responsible, at the end of the day, they're responsible for that project's success. They're going to manage the schedule. They're going to manage the subcontractors. They're going to get all of the information from those subcontractors, invoice the entity, the project owner, and then once they get paid, they will issue checks out to the subcontractors. Most of the time, they hold the insurance. Sometimes the subcontractors will also have insurance and bonding, but for the most part, that's going to be held at the prime contractor. They're going to be the one that is the primary contact for that entity. They're going to handle any project updates. And if something goes wrong, they're responsible for getting it fixed, regardless if they did the work or the subcontractor. And then they do all of any reporting that needs to be done. The subcontractor comes in, they do their work, they send the invoice to the prime. They do a good job, they're a team player, and then they finish their piece of the scope and they're out. So they do not have the headache that the prime contractor is going to have. But checks, cash, the same way. So you can, and this being a subcontractor is actually a great way to break into government contracting, because you can count that experience as your experience. All right. Any questions that you have? Emily's going to come up and talk about cooperative purchasing organizations next. All right.
All right, everybody. So as Susan mentioned, we are going to talk now about co-ops. We had a question in the chat earlier about, is there a place you can find multiple school districts or multiple schools? And this is one of the places that that you might find opportunities for multiple schools, help you kind of narrow down your efforts a little bit. So a cooperative purchasing program, or a co-op, is an arrangement for acquiring goods and services. So essentially what this means is you as a vendor of either a good or service applies to participate in a co-op. So your contract is with the co-op itself. It narrows the pool. You get put into a group of vendors that then the schools participate from the purchasing side. So you've already been vetted, your pricing is already out there, you've already gone through the process of putting your information out there, qualifying yourself, and the schools can come together, they can do larger purchases, they can get information on your fees and services. So it's a great way to get in front of a large number of schools. Again, it reduces the cost of goods and services by giving them the opportunity to piggyback, which is actually what they used to be called. These programs used to be referred to as piggyback programs. So some of these smaller school districts may not have their own purchasing team, right? They may not have a formal process. So they might, work with local school districts to come together to buy in bulk a good that they all need, right? It helps them lower their price points. It helps them narrow down their vendor pool, gives them a shorter list and quicker access to the goods and services that they need. Much like an informal opportunity or a formal, you still need to market to these cooperative purchasing organizations, right? So once you get a contract with a co-op, they have guidelines for how to list your participation on your capability statement. You'll have your co-op logo, maybe a contract number. That's something that you want to put on your capability statement. You'll have a membership list. You're going to want to register as a member. Again, just like any other vendor registration, like Susan mentioned, you want to update it every 6 months. Check your pricing, check your information, make sure your contact information is up to date. Your codes are up to date. So again, it's a abbreviated Google, right? It's an internal Google. It's a way for you to be part of a smaller pool of vendors providing the expertise that your company provides, right? You have the opportunity to reach that membership list. So you're going to get the names of the schools and the school districts that participate in that co-op. So it's a great opportunity for you to reach out to them and do some targeted marketing. We don't want to send our, mass cold call emails, but make them personal, right? Find your key targets, right? The ones in your area, or the ones that maybe they just recently got a bond and they're going to need your services, right? Opportunity to narrow down your list, reach out to them, get that contact information, and make the most of that co-op contract that you have. Here's an example of just a couple of co-ops nationwide. Your state may have them. You may be specific to a particular service. I know there are some co-ops that are specific to catering and cafeteria needs, right? So food services for schools. So depending on the service that you provide or the good that you provide, there may be targeted co-ops for you and your business. Again, like in Texas, for example, they have what's called service regions. So there are specific service region focused co-ops that provide services to a multitude of school districts, but they're all within a region of the state. So we're going to talk a little bit in a second about research and how to find these. But this is a really great opportunity for you to stand out among the crowd, narrow down yourself into a smaller pool of vendors. Again, drop your questions in the Q&A. I'm going to let Susan step back in and talk about research as we start to wrap it up.
All right, so research is one of sort of my favorite parts of what I do, is trying to determine who's buying what services, where the procurement website is for a particular entity, whether it's a school district or something else, just sort of jumping in and doing some research and finding out what's out there. So you want to start in your backyard. look around you and say, okay, in my area, how many school districts are near me? Go ahead and register them, but don't just, unless your product or service is very specific to a school district, think of your local county, your local city. So start thinking of what's in your area. So let's say your service is very specific to a school district. Well, in Harris County, so y'all have probably figured out we're from Texas, right? So in Harris County, there are 22 school districts within our county. So again, we found that out by doing some research. So start looking for opportunities. The more you understand the process, the more you understand what entities are asking for you, the more timely you can respond. So visit procurement sites, look at different opportunities, read through them. That is going to help you build your library. It's going to help you understand keywords. It's going to help you understand NIGP codes. So just start looking. Best way to start though, especially if you're in the schools, is the RFP Schoolwatch. But again, they provide information even for non-educational schools, but there are non-educational opportunities. Sign up, start getting that information. It's going to help you build and refine your vendor registrations. It's going to help you build and define the information that you're putting together now so that you can respond. A lot of times you have 2 weeks to complete a RFP or an RFQ. And sometimes even shorter than that for an IFB. So pull up Google. How do I do business with the Albuquerque ISD? What is the procurement site? What is the purchasing site for the school districts near me? How many school districts are in my area? Now that I've got this information, I've got the procurement site, I'm going to go visit that. How do they procure the goods and services? What registration platform are they using? What information do I need to register? Do they use any co-ops? All of that information is going to be on that procurement site. If you've gotten a bid from RFP Schoolwatch, you can just click in that document and it's going to take you to their procurement site. And you're not having to Google, you're not having to do research, it's right there for you. It's going to give you that insight that you need. Some of the keywords that you're going to Google: purchasing, procurement, contracts, RFPs, RFQs, how to do business with, their business office, their business services, their finance, budget, human resource, especially if your service is very specific to the human resource area. You're going to start typing all of these, what appears to be random information, into Google to get you where you need to go so that you can find the website. This is the school district for the Memphis area. How to do business with Memphis Shelby schools. And it's going to have everything that you need. It's going to have, a lot of times we'll have their procurement manual, how they run their procurement process. It'll explain what formal and informal is to that entity. It's going to have, like, this is their how to register as a vendor. The vendor frequently asked questions. All of that information is right there. So you just keep looking for this. A lot of entities will have past bids posted on their procurement site. You can go back and look at different RFPs and RFQs and IFBs that have already been awarded. Some even have the pricing, the company that won along with their pricing. Great information to get. Also, if you find out that a bid has already been awarded, let's say it was awarded last year and it's a 3 to 4 year contract, so you know it's not going to come back out to contract anytime soon. You might want to just go, oh, that one's, I don't need to do anything for that for the next 4 years. No, this is the time that you want to get to know that buyer. This is the time you want to start having conversations with them. Because you don't know whether that vendor is going to be able to provide the services or the product they said they would. Something may happen and the relationship is no longer there, and they might have to go back out to bid, or they can say, you know what, I've got a company that can step in that I've met. I've got their capability statement. I've had conversations. I've met them at several events that I've attended. Use that time to develop that relationship. Informal bids are relationship driven. All right, we are getting very close to the end here. So any last minute questions? Any questions that we need to ask out loud? We're doing good here. All right, so I have a question for you, and you can drop this information in the chat. What are 1 or 2 takeaways that you're going to put on your action plan and do next week? Emily's checking the chat. We got any?
Not yet.
Not yet? Okay. Come on now. Surely 54 minutes in, you've picked up at least one thing.
People are talking about joining co-op,
All right. So we got some co-ops. All right. So now we know how to look.
calling RFP Schoolwatch.
I like that one. They're going to call RFP Schoolwatch. Amy, get ready for some phone calls.
Googling so they can do their vendor registration.
Okay. All right.
Research.
Research is so important. We spend a lot of our time doing research. All right. So when you're calling RFP Schoolwatch, you're having that conversation and you're ready to sign up. Remember the promo code WEB10. That is going to get, as I believe it was 10% off, correct?
Yes.
Yes. All right. And there's Amy's information. Just call her directly. She's amazing. Thanks, Susan.
Thank you, Susan.
All right. So we do have some additional webinars that are coming up. Our May one is Be Prepared, Win More Bids. June is How to Get Business from Any RFP. July, Responding Better, Faster, and Winning More Contracts. And then in August, we're going to kind of go back and just kind of reset everybody. Government Contracting 101. So we encourage you. I know that May registration is up. Is June registration up? Emily says yes, June registration is up as well. You can tell I don't get involved with that part. Our YouTube channel, and we are giving away a free capability statement when we get to 500 subscribers to our YouTube. We're a little over 300 right now. So we encourage you to take the time, visit our YouTube, listen to some of our videos. Some of these are full length, hour to 90 minutes. Some of these are very short snippets where you can find out. We've mentioned NIGP codes probably about 20 times today. If you don't know what that is, there is a video on NIGP codes that can help you understand what all of that means. We're also have some pretty exciting news that's going to be happening. So by the time we have our next session, we can share some very, very exciting information. We have a podcast, our Victory Cast has launched. For those in the construction, we're going to take the mystery out of surety bonds. We talk about how to leverage your banking relationship. And the most recent episode that has been posted is maximizing your certification and benefits. And we have 3 more that will be posted in the next 3 months, including a 2-part session with the Small Business Administration. Emily is going to drop in our event survey. So please take the time to complete this. This is how we improve upon the services that we offer. It's how we improve upon our different webinars that we offer. So we really, really do want to hear from you. All right. And here is our contact information once again. While we do not share our slides, because I did see somebody ask that, you will have a link to the recording next week. It'll be available on our YouTube channel. You can watch it. Our slides without what we're saying don't always make sense. So we do want to encourage you to listen as well as watch. And so that's why we post these on our YouTube. All right, any other questions? We are at 12:58. Amy, any closing remarks from you?
No, just other than if you have any questions, want to know how RFP Schoolwatch can help you capture and monitor relevant bid opportunities for your business, we'd love to work with you. So reach out, give us a call.
All right. So Amy, Rick, Jill, thank y'all again for this partnership. This has been amazing. We are looking forward to the next 3 to 4 sessions that we've got scheduled. Please take the time to register for those and watch for your emails. The information will come out. So we're again very excited. We've got exciting news for next month. We're going to share with you as well. So I look forward to seeing everyone next month.